What's up, guys? We're going to be going over mastering and gluing your master, and this is a way to do it that I'm particularly fond of. When you have, a mix that's a little bit busy, a little bit too punchy, a little bit too much dynamic stuff going on, and it sounds basically like this. Right? So, the kick really pokes through. And you just want this to be glued together to sound like one cohesive mix. I'll turn it up just a little bit. You would think, okay, put on the glue compressor and dial it down, but there's two ways I'm going to show you. So you're going to drop a compressor in. You're going to open up this little tab, and we'll turn off makeup, gain, of course, and we'll bring the attack down so we can really see what's going on. We'll bring up like the histogram thingy, and what I want to do is I want to turn on the EQ and listen to it so we can hear what the detection circuit, quote unquote, is picking up, and we're going to dial it in. So the click of the kick is what's going to trigger the compressor. So this is kind of like sidechaining. We're going to do this in two ways. So I'm going to sweep it up. Right, so that's pretty good. 127K, 1.27K, I mean. And we're going to bring the threshold down, and you'll notice how it looks. Right, we have a very, aggressive ratio just so we can see what's going on. Right, since we have the attack, it's completely grabbing the audio when the kick happens. And it's creating a kind of a pumping effect. You'll know how, when I describe making the needle dance, right? The needle's kind of dancing and grabbing the audio. You kind of want it to be not so much reactive, but you want it to kind of dance with the audio. And what I mean by that is the release time kind of has to match up for the effect that you want. It has to match up with the material in question. Right, so we can see the release is, fully unengaging on this histogram here. If we have the release all the way up, the release won't release in time, and the compressor will be triggered again as we increase it, and we'll just get lower and lower volumes, and it'll look like this. See, that's an example of poor release time. It depends on the BPM, depends on the track material in question. So basically, the release time is the amount of pumping. So you kind of dial it in. Now, this is kind of exaggerated, but it's for effect. So once we're at that point, we can decrease the attack or increase the attack, whatever, to introduce the transients back in to make it more punchy, to introduce the kick transient back in. So we'll do that now. So there it is. It's gone now, and we can completely reintroduce it if we want to. Right, so like this, it's very reactive. And if you wanted like a very hardcore pumping effect, you could bring this all the way down. And increase the attack. Right, but we don't want it like that. I'm only doing this so we can, hear and see what's going on. Once that point is added, I can kind of lay off the ratio a bit. I want it to be, these peaks to kind of come through so it's detecting. There we go. And play around with the attack and the ratio. it sounds like on and off. Right, that is, it's easy to go overboard with this, which I do a lot of the time. But, it's pretty fun to dial in some pumping and give you that, that harder kind of pumping effect. As an example, and you can use these in series or have this at the beginning of a bus or whatnot. What you can do also, this is kind of counterintuitive, that's only for like one cohesive mix, but if you have the opportunity, you can of course sidechain the actual kick into the input, the detection circuit, right, and then dial it in appropriately. That's another way to do it. Right, and it really tames it, and you can, bring the volume down, do all that sort of fun stuff, and then throw a maximizer on it and squish it all to hell. And yeah. Anyway, there you have it. Make your mixes sound pretty neat. And yeah, hope you learned stuff, and take care.